Hey guys, welcome back to Steel City Sports. So I'm now officially changing my pick in the NFC South from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Atlanta Falcons. And this is because two blockbuster moves, I think. Some people might think I'm overreacting, but I'm going to explain why I think the additions of Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons completely changed this team. And I still think, I've been very critical of the Falcons this offseason. I think they came off as clueless with their quarterback situation, with drafting Penix, but also signing a 36-year-old Kirk Cousins to at least a 3 or 4 year deal. I still think that's all bad. I still think that presents long-term issues because if Kirk underdelivers and you go to Penix, you're going to be paying a backup $40 million a year. You can't have that. That makes literally no sense. So I'm not changing my take on that. I still think the quarterback situation is a mess, but strictly looking at the 2024 season, Kirk Cousins is solidified as the starter. Unless he legitimately fell off of a cliff in terms of his play, Kirk Cousins is solidified as the starter of the Atlanta Falcons. So taking that into account, what was my biggest critique of the Atlanta Falcons? It was the lack of a pass rush, and that's why I was so critical of the Michael Penix pick, because I'm like, you already have Kirk Cousins. This is a very winnable division. You could really compete with this team. You should be addressing your number one issue, not investing in the future with Michael Penix. If you want to invest in the future, I'm fine. Then don't fucking sign Kirk Cousins. So that's why I was flipping out over that. But they went out and did that, at least, like we said, for the 2024 season. They addressed their pass rush issue with bringing in Matthew Judon, who I think he had 38 sacks in 32 games with the Patriots. So he was 6 sacks shy of averaging a sack a game in New England. So Matthew Judon is an absolute stud, just celebrated his 33rd birthday. So he is getting up there in age, but at least for this upcoming year, you have an elite, productive, pass-rushing monster with a guy at head coach Raheem Morris who gets the most out of defensive talent. And that's why this move is so important, because it'd be different if Arthur Smith was still the head coach. He ain't the head coach no more. Raheem Morris is. He knows how to get the most out of defensive talent. And I'm going to keep harping on this probably throughout the years. Look at what he did with Kobe Turner last year with the Rams when he was defensive coordinator. That kid was a 4th-round pick. No one knew his name, and he finished the year with 9.5 sacks. I think he should have been Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now you give him this monster of Matthew Judon. Look out. I think Matthew Judon could have a career year here in Atlanta. And then on top of that, looking at their next edition of Justin Simmons, this is the best secondary in football. Like, how can you argue against that? And it still blows my mind that it took this long for Justin Simmons to find a team. I don't remember exactly when he was cut, but it's been months now. Justin Simmons has just been sitting at home without a team. And I made a video about this back at the time where, like, the Bills cut their whole secondary, the Dolphins cut Xavier Howard, the Broncos cut Justin Simmons. I made a video about, like, how the secondary positions, particularly safeties, are like losing their value in the NFL because all the roles are slanted to the offensive side of the ball. But Justin Simmons is still a high-end, elite-level player. Like, maybe I'm just crazy, but Justin Simmons last year was still an elite-level player. So the fact that he was just sitting out there and he's now been brought in to pair with Jesse Bates, you can argue Jesse Bates is the best safety in football. So now you're going to get these guys together, arguably 2 of the top 5 safeties in the NFL, to go with one of the best young corners in the NFL with A.J. Terrell. That's insane. I mean, the amount of defensive talent now, and this was already a pretty underrated defense last year. They already were pretty productive last year. I think they were in the top 15 of defenses, so they were above average last year for their defense. Now you add these 2 game-wrecking playmakers with Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons to go with that. Raheem Morris is going to have his hands on the defensive play calling. And offensively, it's hard to envision their worst with Kirk Cousins. Desmond Ridder, I don't even think is an NFL-level quarterback, and he was the guy last year. So I'm changing my pick because I do think these 2 players added to the Falcons roster is that impactful. It does really change them from, I didn't really see it, to those guys combined with some of the talent they already had. This is going to be a scary team. That defense is going to threaten to be one of the best in the National Football League and a very winnable division. If they just get like 80%, 70% of what Kirk Cousins was last year before the injury, the Falcons will be a playoff team. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.